Hello, everybody. Welcome to Political Access. Today, let's talk about recall elections. Let's get right on Ballotpedia. This map here shows which states have a provision for recalls, and it's a whole different mix of them. And then if you go to the next table, this shows you which offices allow for a recall. And then you can get more information about the requirements or about the process. You can get all that here or down below. And then if you get on Wikipedia, we can get a list of all recall elections as well as attempted recall elections in the United States. There's a lot of them here. Some of them are very local. There's school boards. It's the kind of thing you're not really going to care about unless you're from that area. The big recent one was the San Francisco District Attorney, but you can read all about these here. There's a ton of them. So what about recalls in general? Well, there's two sides of it. There's pros and cons. Generally, if you're trying to recall somebody that only has a 2-year term, that's completely pointless. They'll be up for re-election soon enough. But if they do have a 4-year term or longer, sometimes they get people mad enough and they want to organize and cut their term short. Now, this could happen for state senators or judges, but the highest profile ones are usually for governor. And there is always going to be elections for the legislator every 2 years. That's supposed to be a check on executive power, but sometimes that's not even enough, and people just want their governor out of there. Some would argue that is undemocratic. Here's an article here from Newsweek that goes into the recent California governor's recall, and it tries to make the case that the wording on the recall is unconstitutional because it asks if Governor Newsom should be recalled, and then if it's a yes, then the candidate with the highest number of replacement votes would win, and that could be somebody without a majority of the vote. Now, I do get it. I wouldn't want somebody winning any election with 24% of the vote, so I think a runoff would probably be most appropriate in that situation. But I also think a lot of it was anger that there was even a recall in the first place against Newsom, and people on the one side tried to make it into some totally partisan Republican attempt when I think Newsom got plenty of people in the middle mad at him, enough to sign that recall petition and get him on the ballot again. So I think people that are a fan of Newsom would just say it's undemocratic no matter what because there are regular elections. And you could kind of compare it to the recall election back in 2012 in Wisconsin against Scott Walker. Similar situation with the parties reversed. The recall wording question was not the same in California, I grant that, but at the time, there were a lot of the same arguments were made that we can't keep doing recalls, we have regular elections, let democracy function, and then the people who are in favor of the recall said, no, this is a provision to protect democracy against the threat of whatever Scott Walker was doing at the time with collective bargaining. It just goes back and forth. It's very cynical, in my opinion, that people will selectively pick which arguments they want to suit their needs at a given time. It's all over in politics. It's very pervasive. And I think most people see it, and I think most people are completely sick of it. So maybe the requirements for recalls should be tweaked a little bit, maybe a little more consistent. That's open for discussion. But as far as the concept of recalls in general, it's hard for me to say one way or the other if they should always be an option or never be an option. I think there's probably some times where they would be appropriate. So anyway, let me know what you think about recalls in the comments down below. Do you like them? Do you despise them? And if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.